Gossip. Unconstrained sharing of unconfirmed details as if they were true. Let me say that again. Unconstrained sharing of unconfirmed details as if they were true. You know, gossip is one of those things or one of those sins, or one of those vices that we don't ever really think about. You know, we don't go around thinking, well, did I gossip today? It's not on our radar until we're on the receiving end of gossip, until we are the object of someone else's gossip. And if you've ever been there, you know how bad that hurts. In fact, Proverbs has a couple of things to say. Proverbs chapter 12, it says that reckless words, see if this doesn't describe this for you. Reckless words pierce like a sword. If you've ever been the object of someone's gossip, you know just how bad those words hurt. At another point, it says that a deceitful tongue crushes the spirit. And again, you felt that. And as much as we want to say that words don't hurt and words don't matter, man, we know that words are devastating. But here's the question, though. Have you ever been the one that's doing the gossip? Have you ever been the offender? Have you ever been the one that's sharing unconfirmed details about someone else that's true, as truth? When we look at gossip, there's really two ways that we gossip. And one way is really, to be honest, it's kind of innocent. We could even say that it's passive or it's casual. Picture this. You're with your friends, you're eating, you're hanging out, and the conversation shifts to a particular person who isn't there. And then all of a sudden, everybody's maybe kind of talking about them. Maybe there's something that happened in their life, and you maybe get swept into it. And you're passive with it. You're not actively trying to spread rumors, but you're there, and you're not doing anything to stop it. You're just quiet. But then there's also this side of gossip that is active and it's purposeful. And you make it your goal to share rumors, to use your words, to wield your words to hurt someone else. And when you do that, it's oftentimes because we've been hurt. We've been wounded. And when we've been wounded, man, we can justify our gossip. We can justify our violence with our words so easily. I was in the 5th grade. There was a guy, his name was Derek. And man, Derek was a straight up bully. I mean, he never whipped me or beat me up, but he was always giving me a hard time. He'd always punch me in the arm. And I can remember the day that I wielded my words and I hurt him deeply. We were standing in line and we were waiting to go into the classroom, and I just had enough. And I knew I couldn't fight Derek. I knew he'd whip me up and down the hallway. And so I chose my words and I repeated something to Derek in that moment. I repeated something that I'd heard some adults say about him and his family. I didn't know if it was true. I didn't even fully understand the depth of what I had to say. I was a 5th grader. But by the time I got home, Derek had come home crying, told his mom had called my mom. And I remember sitting there with my parents and they're going, "Gray, you can't do this." And I was thinking, this is a victory. This guy has bullied me. I finally found a way to his heart. And we can't do that. We can't wield our words to hurt people. And so the question I want to leave you with today is something that Jesus says in Luke chapter 6. I'm going to read this just real quick. He says this. He says, "The good man brings good things out of the good stored up in his heart. And the evil man brings evil things out of the evil stored up in his heart." Now we get that. That's trash in, trash out. You got a good heart, you do good things. You got a bad heart, you do bad things. But Jesus does what Jesus does really well, and he starts meddling in our business. And he continues and he says this, For out of the overflow of our heart, the mouth speaks. We could say it this way, that our hearts, or let me say, our words reflect our hearts. That our words tell everybody about what's inside of us. That our words are a mirror to the world about what's truly in our hearts. And so the question I want to leave you with is simply this, is what do your words and how you use them say about your heart? Does it say that your heart is wounded? Maybe somebody has hurt you with their words and with their actions. And so you've got a wounded heart, and so you respond to other people by hurting them. And what you need to do is not respond to wound, but you need to heal the wound that you have. Or maybe your words say that you're jealous and you're envious. Maybe somebody got a promotion and you didn't. Maybe somebody got the gig and you didn't. And to bring them down or to bring yourself up, you want to bring them down. And so your words are telling the world that your heart is envious and jealous. Or maybe maybe your heart is just bored. Because you're so consumed with the trivial things of other people's lives, you haven't given your life to anything significant. And so gossip is just something you do to pass the time. Whatever it is, think about that question. What do your words and how you use them say about your heart?
So I don't have to convince you that words have power. I have to convince you that your words have power. I remember one time I'd preached and I came off the stage and I'd been praying about this message. I'd done all that I can to deliver it in a way that people would connect with. And several people stopped me, man. They were just high fives, fist bump. Man, your words, the words that you said, they brought power. They inspired me. Man, I loved it. People were so encouraging until one person. And one person stopped me and said, hey, I really thought someone else was going to preach today. I tell you, I remember those words. Those words stung. Have you ever said words come out of your mouth and you went, where did that even come from? Why did I say that? Where were those words when I had a filter? I mean, that just came out. I was in an argument and it just came out. I was talking to my parents and it just came out. I was talking to my wife or my husband or my kids. I was preaching. Whatever I was doing, I said things and I don't know why I said it. Or other words, better yet, what's the cure? How can I quit saying things that I wish I didn't say? I think it starts with your heart. The condition of your heart determines your words. When you begin to examine your heart, when you look at your heart, it's the first step to correcting your words. It's the cure to saying the right words because words determine your direction. You know this, right? I love the story of the spies, the 12 spies. 10 of them came back from the promised land and they talked about all the things that they couldn't do, all the obstacles that they saw, all the reasons why they shouldn't. But 2 of the spies came back and talked about what they would do, what they could do, and what they couldn't wait to experience and see. They saw the same things, but they reported 2 different stories. Why were they different? I think they were different because their hearts were different. 2 of their hearts were right, and because their hearts were right, they said the right things. Your heart determines your words. Your words determine your direction. The words that you say to you, they matter. You want to cure your confidence? You want to cure your perception of yourself? It starts with the words. How do you speak to you? Many of you, you need to fire you and you need to hire God. Say, I want to speak to myself the way that God speaks to me. He sees me as a beloved. He sees me as his son and his daughter. He formed me this way. He made me this way. He wired me this way. When we understand who we are in Christ, we begin to speak to ourselves differently. When we start speaking to ourselves differently, then we can speak to others differently. Man, it's so powerful. You know this. You've seen this. People have spoken to you, and it's as if they've given you a gift. The words that they've used has been like a wrapped up Christmas gift that you'll never forget. They've told you, man, listen, you look beautiful. They've told you, you can conquer this, you can do this. And you never forget those words because those words were like a gift. So now I want to challenge you to say it. You know this, when you don't say things, when you don't encourage people, when you don't speak life into them, it's like you create a hole, a void that other people or other things are going to have to fill. Many of you can think of your parents. You can think of friends, coaches, mentors, where you wish you would have done anything for them to speak life, for them to give you presence of encouragement with their words. And because they withheld that, it created a hole in you. Can I tell you the cure? It's real simple. 1, it's to know that God loves you. The words he speaks into you are his life. He sees you as whole. He believes in you. He has formed you and he has a purpose for you. 2, realize your words are powerful. They determine your direction. Don't stop talking to you the way that God talks to you. And then you can talk to others in a way that gives them life and encourages them. Say it. Just say it. When you get nervous and you go, hey, do I really need to say I love you? Say it. When you get nervous and you think, man, can I really say I believe in you? Just say it. Give the words that bring life. It's like a gift. And you have the chance with your words to be the cure, to give someone a cure for the confidence that they need, to give someone the cure for maybe the beating they took as a child from other people's words. Your words matter. They determine direction. Your heart matters. When your heart's right, your words will be right. Your words can be a gift. Give good gifts. Gray, we're talking about gossip. And man, we've all been hurt by gossip. I love the story you told when you were talking about just that moment. You remember hearing people talk about you and your reaction. Hey, going forward, how do you not gossip? I mean, how do you kind of tame your tongue in the season of life you're in now?
Well, I think one of the things you do is exactly what you said, is it starts in the heart. And we have to take a real look at our hearts. And a lot of us are wounded. And the old phrase, it's true that hurt people. And the easiest way to hurt anybody is with our words,
Yeah, I know. You ever heard that deal about toothpaste? It says like, when you squeeze the toothpaste, you can never get it back in the bottle.
Right.
And I think about with words, like there's so many times that I have been like, could I just bring those back, And I think it scares me as a pastor and someone who speaks a lot. Like the weight of my words is heavy. As a father, man, with kids, I want to use words that give life. As a husband, as a leader, how do we do that? Like when you think through that filter, like how can I be cautious and be careful that my words don't hurt other people?
You know what? I think I'd quote my mama.
Come on.
If you don't have anything nice to say, keep your mouth shut.
That's a good word.
And that's what James tells us. Is
Yeah.
that we have to. There's got to be some type of self-control over our tongues. And I go back to Proverbs 18, where it says that words have the power of life and death, and that is so true. And I think remembering that what I'm about to say matters. There are no words that are just neutral. They're either lifting people up or putting people down. So I would come back to that process of understanding the weight of our words.
Yeah, I think I wish I'd have known that younger.
Oh, man.
You know what I'm saying? I hate to sound like we're forever old, but a lot of our folks that are watching are college students. And there's a quick thought of just you're responsible for your words.
Yeah.
And I'm learning, I think at my stage of life, there's so many times that I want to comment. I feel like I should comment. And the wiser and more mature thing to do is really just to be quiet.
Well, and you look at that, what you just said in regards to social media. Because when we talk about words, oftentimes this is what we think about. But my word, how much in social media in that realm do we say things without any accountability?
Yeah.
And absolutely wreck people.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think it's social media. I think it's the words we use. And then I think when you think about words, it's body language.
Yeah.
I mean, so many times like you say things without even saying them. Mm-hmm. And man, if we could come around that idea, not just of gossip, not just big picture what we say behind other people's backs, but social media, what we comment, what we like, all those. And then finally, just our body language and our presence around other people to be inviting and to be open and to be encouraging instead of being shut off and closed.
Yeah. I think at the end of the day, we've got a huge opportunity every time we open our mouths to do incredible good or be really destructive.
Yeah. I love that, man. I try to think through that filter, right? If they were right here, would I say that?
Yeah.
If Gray was right here, would I still say what I'm about to say? And if we thought through that filter, I think the words we use would be like a gift.
Yeah.
And it would be things that bring people life. James talks about like a rudder as well. Mm-hmm. Says our words can direct people. And man, I hope me and you, we need to hold each other accountable, that we would use words that bring life to the people that are in our life.
Absolutely. It's good stuff.